my privilege to introduce the next keynote speaker. He is a man that is passionate about helping people secure their financial future through real estate, and is the person of Mr. Akindele Opola. He's a seasoned real estate investor and licensed realtor, and is committed to helping individuals build long-term wealth and achieve financial independence. He has a very sharp eye for opportunity and a heart to educate, and he is your go-to person to build strong real estate investment portfolio. So whether you're just looking to get started or looking to scale for retirement, he's your person. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Akindele Opola.
Thank you very much. I'd like to appreciate the leadership of the Men's Fellowship, the pastor, and my friend and the family, Mr. and Mrs. Akindele. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure knowing you. Today I've been given the opportunity to deliver the title, Wed Through Real Estate, a roadmap for the immigrants, newcomers. And I'm going to be doing this in the next 35 minutes. How I wish I have more than that, but I'm going to crash everything together. And I'm also going to be talking about my own experience. You know, when Mr. Akindele was talking, I was moved by the early life and the experience in Canada. You know, those things propel you to be able to work hard. So without much ado, I'm going to be walking through the slide. In the book of Proverbs 24, 3-4, it says, "By wisdom a house is built, through understanding it is established. Through knowledge, its rooms are filled with rare, beautiful treasures." So, understanding, wisdom is very important in business. Wisdom, and wisdom comes from God. One thing personally I've been able to enjoy is the fact that when I'm having my quiet time, and I sit down, or my chair, or even on my bed, I get a lot of insight. And I've realized that whenever I put into action those insights, it's usually very fruitful. Very, very fruitful. And that is why those moments, I really cherish them. I want to continue to have them because they bring a lot of fruits. So, are you going to be helping me to roll the slide? Hello, sir? Yeah, I need the next slide. So, why real estate? It's a tangible asset. There was a time back home in Nigeria that I invested quite a lot in shares. I'm not saying shares are bad. I invested with a lot of investment houses. I borrowed money, from bank, FCMB, First Bank, and I invested the money. And in 2008 crash, I lost quite a lot of money there. And my only investment that stood were all real estate. And I decided within me that what I'm going to focus my attention on, because I never lost any money in real estate. And I said, what I'm going to focus my attention on from now henceforth is going to be real estate. And when I was coming here, I knew what I wanted to do. I have my IT background, and by the grace of God, I've been privileged to work in multinational, both in Canada here and back home in Nigeria. But I made up my mind, I am going to do real estate. So, because it's tangible, it's stable, with real estate you can create a future. You don't need to do much. All you need is understanding, wisdom. So, and you can build equity. You can build equity through real estate. What is equity? Equity is the whole money in the asset that you have bought. For example, if you buy a property, 100,000, and maybe in a few years, it grows to 120. So, whatever you have on top of, the difference between your loan, your mortgage, and the value of the property is your equity. That is your whole. Of course, tenant help you to pay for your mortgage. They help you to pay for your investment. And one big thing is the fact that real estate, you have the opportunity to leverage. You want to buy a property of 100,000, for example, you ask the bank, give me 80,000. I'm going to put 20,000 down. So the bank gives you the 80,000, but when the return on investment is going to come, the return is going to come not only on your 20,000, but it's going to come on 100,000. That is a major difference between stock investment and real estate investment. Long-term appreciation. And of course, you can also create forced appreciation. What is forced appreciation? Forced appreciation is when you buy a property, example, not so good condition, maybe a dilapidated property, and you renovate it to taste. And you go to the same bank and say, bank, now the property you helped me to buy last time, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 6 months ago, 1 year ago, I renovated it, and I believe it's worth much more. Please send your appraiser, let him appraise the property. I want to pull out equity. So when they send appraiser, the property you bought for 100,000, and you put in maybe 30,000, the appraiser come and say, oh, it's now worth 170,000. You forced the appreciation within months. You forced it. That is forced appreciation. So real estate, you have the opportunity to also do that. That is one big advantage of real estate. Multiple income strategies. Yeah, with real estate, you can get income from parking, from your rent, tenant, from your laundry. You create multiple income from properties. And of course, tax advantage. Tax advantage. You know, there's a lot of tax advantage in real estate. Because of what the accountant, I believe, we have a lot of accountants here, what they call depreciation, capital cost allowance. For example, if you have, maybe in your property, you have up to 20,000 worth of appliances. And they create capital cost of appliances. In Canada, for the first year, 10%. 10% of 20,000, that is 2,000. First year is going to save 2,000. Second year is 20%. That is 4,000. Second year is going to save 4,000 in taxes. That is on appliances only. And if you now decide to do capital cost allowance on your property, 4% every year. So if your property is worth 100,000, for easy calculation, 4% of 100,000 every year, that is 4,000. That property is going to be saving you 4,000 every blessed year. So, why real estate? Cash flow income coming from your rentals. And of course, it can help you to preserve your capital. Real estate helps you to preserve your capital. You have loads of capital, maybe from your business or from somewhere, and you want to keep it. You want to keep it where you are sure you are not going to lose the money. Real estate is one of the best ways to keep your capital, to keep your money. It's going to preserve it, and you are going to get appreciation for the future. And you rarely see a multi-billionaire or millionaires in this type of world that we are who does not have real estate. Not many people are making their money through real estate, but all people, all big men keep their money in real estate because of capital preservation. Next slide, sir. So why do we, as immigrants or newcomers, invest in real estate? Why do we need to do that? I mean, it's the first start, motivation to grow. We want to build something. We want to build a legacy. It stabilizes us. You know, it helps us to integrate into the community. I'm not talking about, when we are talking about putting your money in real estate, we shouldn't mistake it for going and buy a big house and be struggling to pay your mortgage. That is not real estate investment. If you're lucky, you're going to get your money, you're going to get appreciation in the future. And what of if you are not able to? I mean, maybe as a result of the fact that you lose one of your jobs. So that is not real estate investment. So, of course, it also helps us to have access to credit. You know, one of the best ways that you can do business is invest in real estate. And because of appreciation over time, you can have access to your equity and say, I want to do business with my equity. The bank will not borrow money if you are just starting a business. We have had everything from kindergarten. And it is difficult, except you are lucky, because you have not proven your business yet. They want you to start. And one of the best ways to start is to invest in real estate. I mean, because the bank, more or less, they are secured by the assets of the real estate. So they can loan you money. And when you now get equity, you can use the equity to start your business. Your equity can come in form of home equity line of credit. It can come in the form of equity directly by refinancing of the house to start your business. That is one of the big advantages of real estate. Of course, build financial credibility. Strategic entry into wealth building. You know, bit by bit, one by one, starting small, and before you know it, you are building wealth. It's so easy, which is, of course, it comes with few challenges as well. But understanding, wisdom, knowledge are what you need to go after. Hello? So how do we start? We need to build our credit score, our credit history. That is very important for any business. Actually, anything financing in this part of the world begins with our credit. You know, and one of the ways to build credit is to pay your bills on time. And whenever they are good for you, maybe more thousands of dollars, you take it. When we came to this country, they gave us a secure line of credit of 1,000. And we realized that if you are spending 800, 700 out of that 1,000, even when you are paying back, it doesn't really, help you. But when they approve more money for you, maybe 5,000, and you're still spending the same 700, you realize that the algorithm favors you. Because it says, oh, you have access to 5,000, and yet you're only spending 700 out of it every month. So when they approve for you more money, please take it. The orientation back home, does not work here. Thank you. So we should start saving 5% of our. And one of the most difficult things in this part of the world is saving money. Saving is very, very difficult, with a lot of bills to pay. But if we can do it, please do it. Save money. Save money. 5% of your income, 10% of your income, 20% of your income, gradually every month. Save it. And when the bank approves line of credit for you, take it. Don't reject it. When they increase it, take it. You never know when you're going to need it. Yeah. And of course, get pre-approved. If now you have enough money to start investing, get pre-approved. Get a mortgage person, go to a bank. How much can you borrow me if I want to start investing properties? And of course, home equity line of credit. Yeah, it's all another way of starting real estate investment. Yep, next slide. 2, understand the market. Where do we want to be buying the property? Where do we want to be investing? Market dynamics. Understanding the market is very crucial. because that will make or mar your investment idea. If you start with a wrong neighborhood, you might be discouraged and think that is the way it works. So get understanding. Move closer to people that understand the market. Ask questions. Watch video. Come to events like this. Learn from people that are more ahead of you. That is very crucial. And of course, this is Canada. You compare different cities. We really thank God for Winnipeg, because Winnipeg is a stable place, stable in terms of economy. No single commodity controls Manitoba economy. We are not cut out for Sogundogoji, where you can buy a property and expect it to double in a few years. No. But you can predict on the average in Winnipeg is 3 to 5% compounded every year. So you are able to predict in 5-6 years what is going to be the value of the property if you buy right. It is not that you are going to buy high now and you expect to be compounded. No, if you buy right. And that is why you need the understanding. So compare differences. I have a lot of, I'm a licensed realtor by the way, and I have clients who used to invest in Toronto until they discovered me. And they've been buying properties there, investing there, and unfortunately, every month, they still have to cough money from their pocket to take care of their investment. And I said, that is not an investment. That you are just speculating. You're only banking on, oh, this property is going to appreciate. Unfortunately, in the last 5 years, after COVID, those properties never appreciated, they rather depreciate. Because most people that were buying, like the example that my friend gave, in condo, they have been speculating everything that's been working fine for them. Well, let's go and buy from the builder. Before they finish in 1 year, 2 years, it's going to be, we gain additional 20%. And you see people, buying 2, 3, 4. And I also have friends, they put their resources together about 300, 400,000. And they bought a property with the hope that they are going to gain 20% more. But the interest rate went up and the property crashed. The interest rate is indirectly proportional to the value of the property. It crashed and they lost all their money. And even the builder have the right to go after them if they are not able to close. They are not able to close because the property they bought for $1 million is now 800,000. Their down payment gone. So understand where you want to invest. Don't speculate. Go for something that will at least pay for itself, even when the situation looks dicey. That is very important. Thank you. So you determine what kind of strategy, because there are lots of strategy in real estate, and real estate is a business. It's a business. So what strategy do you want to use? Buy and hold. Buy property, you hold it for a long time. You manage your tenants. You do tenant placement, you screen your tenant. You manage them when they have issues. You connect yourself with maintenance people who help you to fix issues. And years after years, you get equity. Years after years, you use the equity from the property, to buy another property. Because let's say man. So that is one. Two, house hacking. As a real estate investor, I counsel people based on what is good for them. When they list, counsel a lot of people, single people. Instead of you going and buy because you can afford a house of 600,000, 700,000. why can't you buy something that you will rent part of it out? That is house hacking. Someone is also helping you to pay your mortgage. That is house hacking. Do that. And if you can fix your business, fix it. You can do Airbnb, you can do long-time tenants, do it. It's very expensive to take care of a house in this country. Pay your mortgage, property tax, insurance, maintenance. Very expensive. So 2, buy. That's a beautiful strategy. Buy, renovate, rent it, refinance it, and repeat. By that strategy, I was able to move quickly in acquisition of properties in this city. Buy them, fix them. With my line of credit, go back to the bank. Oh, I need your help. I want to refinance. Send your appraiser. Of course, it always comes out the way I predicted because I've seen the data before I started. Because the beautiful thing is that it's good to have your exit strategy when you're entering. You already have exit strategy. Even though I want the property for a long time, I also want to get equity out of it and use that equity to buy another one. Oftentimes, I've been able to get almost all the equity out. Almost all the money that I invested rather, and sometimes no. But I get something above what I initially invested at all the time. And where does it go into? Of course, I'm still building. So buy is like you are selling to yourself. It's a beautiful strategy. You're selling to yourself. You're holding the property. You're eating your cake and at the same time you're having it. Pre-construction investing, and you have to be careful about that. It's good if you're buying right. If somebody that has the experience is holding your hand. Of course, rent to home. You also have flipping. Flipping appears to be very attractive, especially with television programs. But if you are doing flipping, it doesn't have any tax advantage. They're going to tax you according to your tax bracket. So, because you are holding for a short time. If you are holding for a long time, the government have some level of compensation for you because you are also helping them to provide housing. If you are flipping, no tax advantage. Rent to own. Of course, rent to own, you want to rent and own it. I'm currently helping a family that are selling to another family, a young family, and they have the right to exercise it within 2-3 years to be able to buy the property. It's also a good way to start. Step 4, build your team. Get experienced people, experienced realtors who have been there. Fortunately, I want to say this, and it's not good. If you are getting a realtor and you are trying to do real estate business, make sure you get people that have been there where you want to go. This is because not all real estate agents know about investing. So get someone who has been there, who's experienced, who can help you, who can hold you. Of course, mortgage broker, banks, the lenders, walk into their door, introduce yourself. This is what I want to get. This is what I want to start. How can you be of help? You are building a team. Real estate lawyer, home inspector, and of course, accountant and property manager, who is going to help you to save on taxes, and if you need property manager, who is going to help you. For a starter, I don't think you need a property manager. Learn to the role. Do the job yourself. Yeah. The lender, the mortgage broker who is not afraid to qualify you even when you are going to get multiple property, because your goal is to have multiple properties. Set a target for yourself. And when you are buying, you are not buying liability, you are buying assets. One of the questions that I used to get quite often wherever I do seminar like this is, how come you are able to get multiple properties when me I'm finding it difficult to get few? Yeah, and when I ask the question, tell me what you have gotten, how much income is coming through those. Oftentimes they have loaded their portfolio with liabilities, something that is taking money from their pockets. Step 5, run the numbers. Yeah, it's about the numbers. Business is about the numbers. How much you are buying a property, what is going to be your mortgage every month, even though you are using part of your mortgage to pay your principal down. Maintenance, make a provision of 5% of your gross income for maintenance. Make a provision for vacancy, because you're going to have vacancy. Insurance, maintenance depending on the age of the property or when it's last renovated, between 5 to 10% of the gross income. So running the numbers is very important, and cash flow is key. You know, if you notice recently that rent prices went up. Rent prices went up, heavily. On the average, one bedroom right now is between 1,100 to 1,300. Two bedroom is between 14 to 1,800. Three bedroom between 16 to 2,100, depending. A few years ago, it wasn't like that. And you know what? When you buy your property today and you pay your mortgage down maybe 5-10 years, you're still going to be competing with the same people that are buying newly. And you are going to be enjoying the same rent. So it means you are going to have more money in your pocket, especially when you are planning for the future. I have properties, 50,000 mortgage, 150 mortgage, 200 mortgage, 250 mortgage, and I'm still renting market price. So it means I have more money in my pocket. One of the reasons why I'm able to discharge my duty as a real estate agent faithfully is the fact that I have income. Whether I have to sell house or not, I have income. I was actually a full-time landlord before I became a licensed real estate agent. And the people that I was delivering the seminar like this for encouraged me to become an agent so that I can help them in their portfolio. So I'm able to help people by telling them the truth. I'm not under compulsion to be able to lie. Because I have stable income, whether I work or not. So, when you are investing in real estate, that's your goal. You want to have stable income. Even though it might be difficult now, but in the future, you want to look at 5 to 10 years, stable income. So that whatever you like to do, you are not going to be under any compulsion to do it. You are doing it because you like it. And you'll be able to volunteer your time anywhere you love to work. Yep. Next. I'm winding up. Then avoid common mistake. Don't wait too long. Analysis paralysis is a big problem. Oh, people like to analyze. I've seen people, they use 2-3 years to analyze. Don't analyze too much. Don't start. And according to Nike, just do it. Do it. Start to work on it. And of course, when you are starting out and you are buying property, old property especially, don't skip inspection. Because you don't have the experience yet. Spend out $500, do inspection. Don't ever underestimate any expenses. Especially when you are doing renovation. You don't know what is behind the wall. Technically, we usually had about 10%. If you are renovating a property, $550,000, put extra $5,000 because you don't know what is behind the wall. They might open the wall and say that they are opening something small, and they have to and it happens all the time. So don't underestimating expenses. Actually, add more money, and if everything goes fine, that is a bonus. And don't let emotion guide your decision. When you are buying a place to live, you can use all the emotion. Oh, I want the color to be like this. Oh, I want the television to be in that area. It's your home. You are free. You are good to make that judgment. But when you are buying as an investment property, forget emotion. What works? What is the color that people want? Not what you want. Lighter color. What is generally acceptable, because you are looking to the populace, you are not renting to yourself. You are free to use emotion where you want to live, but when you are renting, forget about emotion. Yeah, cheap for success. And again, I'm calibrating. Start small and scale smart. You don't have to start big. Whatever your hands minded to do it with all your might. Start now. Take it as a business. Keep learning, keep networking. Keep learning, keep networking. One of the beautiful things we can keep on doing is to keep learning. And in our learning, we get an insight. And that is going to work for us. And of course, when we need to partner help. Like people say, it's better to have 50% of something than you want to have the entire 100% and of nothing. You can partner up. One of the things that we have not really learned to do very well in our community is partnering, coming together. We fight a lot. But let's learn to partner. The Indian community, they also have their own problem. But they when it comes to partnering up to achieve success, to move money around, they are good. Let's create a legacy for our community too. Focus on cash flow. Cash flow is king. If the property is paying for itself, and even if it's bringing $1 after paying for itself, you are not under pressure to sell. You are not under pressure to dispose it. You sell when you like, because it's not a liability. But when it's a liability, he's getting 1,000 from me every month. Oh, sell it for me. And you can sell for a scrap, can sell cheap, because it has become a liability. Sell. You don't have to sell. You can leave it for your children. You can leave it for legacy. You have had it. You need to create wealth that will last for at least two generations. A wise man creates inheritance for his children. Treat it like business. It is a business. It is a business. And of course, if you need to do house hacking, to live in one unit and rent the other, do it. Next slide. Final thought. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Real estate is your ladder. Take the first step and keep climbing. Thank you. can see next slide. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Because our time is fast spent, we're just going to be moving straight into the next phase of the program, and that is the question and answer session. Because of our time, we'll only entertain 3 questions, please. 3 questions.
I have a quick question for you, sir. Thank you for all of the enlightenment. I have like 4 questions for you, but maybe I'll ask later. The first one I want to ask is, now we know that they are building new properties in old areas like Vital and Pembina, and then we still have the old properties in those areas as well. So I'm wondering, instead of buying a 650,000 property or 600,000 property where the down payment is too much and it's almost unachievable, would you say it's better to purchase a property maybe that is about 350,000 in the same area and put maybe 20 or 30,000 towards renovating and making it a rental property?
Okay.
That is old versus
property.
new.
Yeah. So what I've discovered from my experience is that the new properties appreciate faster than the older properties. That is one. So if you are investing for appreciation, you go for new one. Not necessarily new this year. Newer is any property less than 20 years I consider new. And if you're also investing in an old property, like you get a figure of 350, you have to consider how much you are going to use to renovate and what is going to be the value. I would rather buy such property, dilapidated one, for around 250 and put 50,000 there, and it's going to work like 350, 380 by the time it's finished, than for me to put 350 in those old neighborhoods. Yeah. But you also consider the income. What is the income that is going to be coming from the house? If I'm going to buy a property of 350 and the income is going to be 2,000 versus a property of 600 and the income is going to be 3,800, it's more or less the same thing. Yeah, because the higher but in such neighborhood you can also get old duplex that you can buy, and they put in some money to make it in order, and at the end of the day it's still worth less than 400. That will make more sense than single family, because you're also looking at the income, because you don't want to be paying money from your pocket. I hope I answered that one question out of 4. So what is the second question?
Let other
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. First of all, pristine presentation.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Now, the first question I have concerning the thing that I said about the real estate agents, most of them really do focus on their commission and they just want to skedaddle after that. They don't really give that necessary advice that helps people to really know how to utilize their properties to, as a source of profits for them. So now the question I have is this: once you get that first property, you mentioned something about this method that you highlighted there. So once you get this property, how can you utilize this property to, in a sense, like that first hacking, when you forcefully hack that property, but let's say you don't have that funds, let's say you buy a new property that is less than 20 years old, and then you, obviously, once you buy the property, there's a chance that it's going to increase in, the equity is going to be there. How can you utilize that equity in the best of your capability to be able to, forcefully hack that property, increase the distance, and then from there you move on to the next property and all that?
So if you buy a property that's about 20 years old, it's still considered new. You may not get equity there. You may not get, the bond might not be the best bond for that. Yeah, because anyone that is selling a property less than 20 years want to sell for market value. I mean, if I buy a property in 2008, for example, and maybe I bought for 400, and the new one that they are building today, they are selling for 600, 650. Let's say they are selling for 650. If I want to sell my own, if I can't sell for 650, I will sell for 600 or 620. It's still the same thing. Yeah, but when we are, those ones that you can actually buy very well are more than 20 years. Yeah.
Good afternoon. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for everything. So 2 questions that I have. When buying property, single versus married, should we be considering household income as the thing of importance, or we should be considering longevity of income, in the sense that, for instance, if I know a lot of the time when people are making purchases, you're always hearing household income, but does the lender, for instance, is the lender concerned about household income, or, for instance, that 2 people are contributing to a household income? In which case, if one person is unable to keep up, then in the case of partnering, for instance, like having 2 people with a certain, so if 2 people are making 70,000 and their household income is 140, is it always better in their presentation to the lender than if one person is making even 180? That's more than what those 2 people are making. But how does the lender see that?
So the lender see more money. The lender see more money.
When does it see 2 entities that are able to balance each other?
The reason why we tend to say family income is so to boost it.
Okay.
In the recent mortgage I took, even though I took in the name of my company, but I still guarantee I didn't use my wife. So the more money,
so the lender doesn't see an individual, they just see money, and that's it.
Yeah.
All right. In which case, what is a minimum standard that you think, whether family cooperative or that you think that a person can start? What do you regard as a minimum requirement for a person to start looking into that kind of thing? We know that average household income is in Manitoba is about 70,000-80,000 now. So what should a person who is serious about ownership, whether to invest or whatever, what should the person be targeting? And then finally,
let me answer that question first. So you can usually, when you are buying a house, most lenders look at times 4 or times 5, depending on the lender. So if the household income is 70,000, for example, the lender you are looking at times 4 of that. Some lenders times 5. So that is the max of the house you can buy at that time. So
your basic household income does not matter, it just matters what you are aiming to acquire.
Well, if you are aiming to acquire 1 million house and your income is the household income or one income out of the house, I want to buy the house is 100,000. They cannot buy more than 500,000.
Okay, and then just because again of all the things that you have listed, and some of them are to buy and to rent, in your experience, what is, because you hear lots of stories about tenants and tenants wahala, what's your experience with that kind of thing where somebody is living and renting out? So these are my questions.
Okay, so we have good tenants, we have bad tenants, we have fairly good tenants. So one thing that you should not let to dissuade you from feeling your dreams the kind of challenge. Let me share my experience. When I started this business, because I was new and I was still learning, I'm still learning anyway, but I'm better a cook than 12 years ago. So I would just put anybody there. I don't want vacancy, I just put anybody there. And a lot of trouble for me. They will destroy the house, damage the house, garbage the house. I've seen it all. My friends that are here are laughing because they share in some of the trouble, And we go to RTP. RTP is the tribunal between tenant and landlord. But by the grace of God, I was able to learn quickly, and I never allowed that to dissuade me. But today, I have better tenants. And people that I mentor, they have good tenants as well, because I tell them from my experience. Except they don't want to listen to me. But all of them that listen to me, yeah, we are good. That is not to say that occasionally you don't find Judas out of the 12. Yes, we still find out cases. But let me tell you about tenants generally. I've seen tenants that as they are coming, I'm encouraging them for earning because of their own wahala. And I've also seen tenants that have been able to fight for them for their permanent residence. So that is to tell, I can go to any length to help any tenant, and I can go to any length to evict our tenants. Some of my houses, it is when I see the alert that I know that tenants are still there. No trouble. I have one small single family house for like 6 years, the same tenants. Cool-headed people, they came to do business. And when they are leaving, of course I miss them. I don't want good tenants to leave. They call for reference. When they call me for reference, I said, you better approve that application immediately. Because these are very, very good tenants. They have been with me for these long years, and I don't have any trouble with them. So, and I have some of them, but when I realize how to screen very well, even before I show you, I don't waste my time. I ask you 5 questions. If you meet up without those 5 questions that I show you, because not everybody wants my time. Where do you want to move? Why? When exactly? You want to move in December, you are making inquiry now. Will I show you my house? No. I don't want my house to be taken to December. Why are you moving up? You don't want to be talking about. We have cockroaches. They are coming to your house with those cockroaches and them. So I don't need to bother. Or they evicted them. You want to put in people that they evicted? So if that is even before I show, I'm not even checking anything background. So I check whether they meet up. And if do you have any pets? Oh, I have pets. We have 6 pets. They're already. So it's not that I don't approve people with pets. I approve one pet. Occasionally, when I see good profile, people working with the government with 150,000. Can come with 2 pets. A self-employed person doing business and doing well in the business, you can have 2 pets. But generally, one small pet. I don't approve big pets, especially if it's a multi-family, because I don't want the dogs to be, other tenant might have children and the dog is harassing them. So I have a policy towards that. But don't let tenant, put you away. There are fantastic tenants. And they help you to pay your way into wealth. Yeah, where you give them the service.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that. So we just have homework. Sorry, I know we have questions, but because of our time, we're not going to be able to do that tonight. But I will allow the president, because I didn't allow him to ask his question the last time, so I'll give him the last shot.
So, sir, from your experience, is it advisable to build yourself or to take mortgage? Which one is cheaper? If you have the time, if you want to wait, come to go through all the necessary procedure, based on your experience, what do you advise? That is number 1.
To build or to buy? To buy.
Or to buy. Right?
Okay, so let me answer that question. So, when you are experienced enough, you can build. If you want to build, by not having Canadian experience to build, you will spend more money to build. than average, and your building will end up costing more than the average of that building you are building. Except typical building where the builder says, oh, this is how much it's going to cost, we're going to build for you A to Z. That is okay. But you have tried to reduce cost by doing everything on your own. I can assure you will spend more money. But when you get there, by the grace of God I'm building right now, when you get there, you'll be able to build for cheaper price. But not until that time, don't ever build. You end up spending more money. Yeah. The second question.
Okay, so the next question has to do with equity. We hear equity. Is equity a loan that you need to pay back
Yes.
at some point? And how best can you use equity to your own advantage?
So that is what we call leverage. You can use equity to buy another property. You can use equity to start a business. But equity is because you are taking it out when you are still owning the property. If you are selling, you take your equity out. They give you the bank leaves the difference to you. But because you are still holding that property, you are taking it out as a loan. So you have to pay. Your mortgage will increase. But it makes sense if you are using it for the right thing. It's good to enjoy a bit of your money. If you pull out maybe 60 or 70,000 and say, oh, it's 5,000, let's go me and my wife. That is not bad. But when you're using bulk of it for life business and investment, that is okay. However, when you pull equity out, if you pull out 70,000 out, that 70,000 is added to your loan. Except you decide to sell. If you sell, it's just we're done. Final. But if you ever come and pull out the equity out, it's about come on idea. If you have, let's say you have a property you own the property for 10 years, you bought it for 350, and in 10 years it has increased to maybe 900,000, and you have never refinanced, you have never done anything, and you decide, okay, and you have paid your mortgage maybe is remaining 200. So it means you have 700,000 equity. So if you decide to pull out 500,000, because you have to understand the system.
Okay.
That 400,000 is tax free. So let me pull this one out for my retirement. You can put it maybe in an investment that's yielding 8% per annum, whatever. And leave the rest for your children. Because the amount that they can get back the same property for today is the same amount that is worth. So the money you pull out is tax free. You are not paying tax. However, they add it to your mortgage. Okay. So your children will not have a salary shine. Come and now they can back. So you get that logic? Yeah. So you can hold property for generations. I tell my children, if you get any of my properties, don't sell. Don't sell.